Morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. We're going to take a look at this new road that Canada built, that we built. I live in Canada. Up to Tuktoyaktuk. And what's it for? Interesting article. I hadn't seen a lot about this. I simply watched the news broadcast about it, I think, on the National, on CBC. And so why are they building it? Is it for the residents of Tuktoyaktuk? Well, there's more to the story than that, of course. So this is a Zero Hedge article. Canada builds $300 million highway to nowhere. But is there a hidden agenda? And I honestly don't think it's hidden, but I think it's just interesting to look at this, what it's made for, what the implications are. A new $300 million, first of its kind, permanent highway. Permanent because it's on the permafrost, which means it's probably going to shift as things warm up there. So it's complete experiment as to how long it's actually going to last, but it should be interesting to see. Basically, what they did was they put blankets down over the permafrost, and then they put layers of earth on top of that, in hopes that the permafrost wouldn't come out of the ground, and therefore keep the ground steady and hard. If the permafrost warmed up because cars driving over it, whatever, that could make the ground mushy and really wreck the road. So it's interesting engineering to start with. For a kind permanent highway will officially open in Northwest Territories on Wednesday, so today. This will be the first time in Canada's history that a national highway system will be linked to all coasts. The completion of the 4-year project is set to connect the tiny Arctic town of Tuktoyaktuk with the rest of the communities to provide better transportation for residents. Yes, it does do that. It's also going to improve security, allow us to enforce and project our sovereignty in Canada to the northern waters, to the Arctic Ocean, and really push off Russia to give Russia an indication that we are there and we are there to stay. If you don't populate and you don't enforce and you don't have your forces in the area, well, then really that land is open for other countries to come and take effectively. If you're not owning it actively, then other countries may come in and try and get it from you. We think there could be another reason why Canada would build a highway to nowhere. Well, there's good tourism there. There's also going to be, I'm sure, new shipping lanes there as the Arctic Ocean warms up. As explained by one citizen in the video, and I'll have the link in the description. The road is called the Road to Resources. It's where major reserves of oil and gas reside, and at one time inaccessible due to poor infrastructure. And that's correct. What this road does is really lowers the cost to get resources in and out, because you've got to build infrastructure there to get the resources. You've got a truck of bulldozers and excavators and all sorts of equipment up there to get resources out, oil, gas, diamonds, natural resources of any sort, even chemicals, asbestos at one time, and graphite and other things, whatever else is up there. There's all sorts of resources up there. So this road really lowers the overhead, basically the jump in cost of these big companies to get up there and start exploring, and therefore make a lot of money. And if they make a lot of money, they're going to be taxed, and therefore the tax is going to come in, provide revenues so that the government of Canada can build more roads in there, can keep up this road, and can further populate and ensure its sovereignty over all the landmass of Canada. And so that it's not just for the 900 residents of Tuktoyaktuk. It's not just for tourism. It's also for military uses. It's for resource uses. It's for commercialization, and that truth shouldn't be lost on anybody. The all-season 137-kilometer highway is the first of its kind that connects Inuvik to the hamlet of Tuktoyaktuk. The traditional route to Tuktoyaktuk involved ice roads in the winter, but as the season changed, those roads were inaccessible. So it was the ice road in the winter, and I've been on ice roads in the Northwest Territories. My wife was actually grew up in the Northwest Territories, and so I know about ice roads, and I've been on them. In the summer, the only way to travel was by plane, which made it difficult to transport goods. The new road will be a game changer, and its size indicates heavy machinery can be transported north. Yes, they wouldn't build this road without making it large enough for heavy machinery. It'd almost be a waste of money to build it where heavy machinery couldn't go up there. Because, yeah, there's a lot of commercial industry that's interested in getting up there, and the government knows there's a lot of tax dollars and money that would come out of that. Daryl Nasogaluik, mayor of Northwest Territories hamlet Tuktoyaktuk, said the permanent road is something that's been on the community's want list for 40 years. The idea of a Canadian Arctic road is resurfaced periodically within different levels of government, but in 2013, the federal government committed to paying 2/3 of the $300 million cost as one of 4 Canada 150 signature infrastructure projects. According to the narrative pitched by the Canadian government, the expanded roadways will serve as an economic lifeline to the region. Yes, this is true, but it comes at the expense of large corporations depleting natural resources. So it's a there's issues that will arise from it, absolutely, but there'll probably be lots of red tape as well related to this. This was once tried in the 1970s in the fuel crisis in the United States. Large corporations piled into the regions in search for oil and natural gas. After the crisis, the cost of production became too expensive, and oil and gas exploration platforms were left offshore in Tuktoyaktuk. So this is a natural gas exploration platform, and it was just left to rot, basically. Wally Schumann, Minister of Industry, Tourism and Investment, spoke. He said, the progress to construct the Inuvik-Tuktoyaktuk highway is exciting to observe. Once complete, Northerners will have contributed to the fulfilling of Canada, of a vision of Canada connected by road from coast to coast to coast. Schumann's eagerness to nation build a $300 million road to nowhere leaves questioning what is the real agenda at play. And we know it's commercial investment and interests. Bottom line here, says the writer of the article on Zero Hedge, Canada's nation building involves building a very expensive road to nowhere, and we must fill in the blanks and understand the true agenda, as confirmed by CBC News, is to develop gas fields along Tuktoyaktuk Highway. I think that's the truth. That's the ultimate goal. I don't think that was hidden to anybody, honestly. There's going to be money in this. Governments don't generally do things, out of pure sovereignty, military purpose. They're always looking, how do we pay for this thing? How do we sell it to the country? And how do we get money out of it? How do we get money back in terms of tax, etc. from it? So that's the sort of stuff that's happening in Canada. And that's the truth behind why the road was built. And I think it's good. Inevitably, you got to let commercial industries go up there. You just need government rules in place to so they don't destroy the land. But this is inevitable. They've already taken all the resources out of southern Canada, if you will. So that's the next obvious step. All right, I'll leave it there. Interesting story. And you can check out the link in the description.